Hey friends, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching this video in advance. And do that right now. First, we're going to start with understanding that our Father has put in the heavens signs for us to see, and they are the sun, moon, and stars and planets. The sun-clad woman in Revelation. It says in Revelation 12, "Now a great sign, and it is a great sign, in heaven. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet." Some translation says a moon at her feet, and on her head a garland or a crown of 12 stars. I did not find, this was not found in 2011. I found this sign in 2017. I'm going to show you this. We are in Jerusalem. We are looking at the eastern sky as the sun rises. I'll show you this. The sun is rising. I'm doing this quickly here. There's the sun. And the moon shortly follows. Here it comes. And there's the moon. Okay? Doesn't seem like such a big deal. Off the land. I want to take off the atmosphere, and you can see the sky much brighter. I'm also going to turn on constellation art. I am going to turn on the constellation lines, and I'm going to turn on the names of the planets. Now, let's watch this rise. Here comes the woman. She's clothed in the sun. This is Virgo, the virgin birth, also alluding to Mary, but this is also Israel. This is the Hebrew bloodline, okay? She's clothed in the sun. She has got the moon at her feet. Jupiter is known as the king planet. And it is in between her legs, like she just is giving birth to the king. If you've studied or if you've seen the presentation, the Star of Bethlehem, you also know, that Jupiter, at the time of the Star of Bethlehem, back announcing the king's birth, Jupiter was in play, also with Regulus, which is up here. This is Regulus, and this is the king's star, known for the word regal is connected with that, and then also this is the lion Leo. Okay, now let me back out a little bit. What do we have here? Well, we've got the virgin, the woman, clothed in the sun, with the moon at her feet, travailing in pain. Well, I mean, this is just artwork from somebody who did artwork. And then, here's the trick. 12 stars. This is what we didn't see last year. Okay, planets are also known as stars in astronomy. Leo is at her head. Okay? If you look at Leo, there's always 9 major stars that construct Leo. I'll count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That construct the major constellation of Leo. This is the only year that suddenly 3 other stars come above her head, crowning her. 9 plus 3 is 12. In a conjunction of Regulus, Venus, Mars, Mercury, all pointing right down at the Virgin. Okay? If you haven't made this full screen yet, you should do that. I'm going to have a lot of detail in this presentation. So this is in 2017, and this happens, I have this on the 22nd, September 22nd. Shoshana, or the Feast of Trumpets, falls on the 21st, 22nd, basically 23rd. I would push this between the 22nd and 23rd because you're not going to be able to see and announce it until the 21st in the evening at sundown, as we just went through. The new moon was actually on the 16th this year, but we didn't see it until the 17th, making it 17th, 18th, 19th, okay? So that would make the real Rosh Hashanah here basically 21, 22, and 23, all right? So that is 2017, happens at around Rosh Hashanah. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to another slide here, and I want to show you, this is the overall outline of Revelation. It has 22 chapters in it, and these are the chapters all in order. Again, Revelation is chronological. It's John's vision. He is explaining what happens first, what happens next, and in the middle, and at the end, and how it ends. It's a story. It's not that confusing if you realize that you're reading an entire vision from the beginning to the end. John gets, technically, he has like a rapture experience where he hears the voice of a trumpet, and he is called to come up here, and he says immediately he was in the Spirit. This alludes to the rapture, because there's nothing else like it. And then when John is up there and everything is in order, then John actually witnesses the church in heaven, and that is the elders wearing their crowns and white raiment. And they can't wear white until they're raptured, because they wouldn't have a body if they weren't raptured. And then it says that in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice, because the newly built temple has been built for the first half of that week, and the sacrificial system has to be it will be put in place. Okay, the daily offering, the yearly Passover sacrifice will be put back in place, it's not there right now because there's no temple. But the Antichrist will cause the sacrificial system and the offering to cease for the remaining 3.5 years. And then he shall set up an abomination, which is some such sort of idol, and he will make it desolate. That's why this is called the abomination that causes desolation. So Israel will become, or at least Jerusalem will become desolate, and those who listen to Messiah's words will realize that he is Messiah. And then most theologians believe that there's a place called Petra that's being prepared. Here's Revelation for them. The black part here I've marked as, this is dead center of the tribulation period. Everything that happens in 11 through 13 is almost all mid-trib events, okay? This orange line here is pretty much, this whole period is considered the tribulation by theologians, but the latter half is called the Great Tribulation, and that's because Satan himself gets cast down to earth. Middle of the tribulation, okay? We see this sign in heaven that I showed you in Stellarium. Okay, then it talks about, and bore a male child, that's what Jupiter is showing, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up to God and his throne. That's what happened when he ascended into heaven. Then it says, the woman fled into the wilderness, and that would be if they took, there would probably only be a small group of people. There would be a lot of Jews who died because they still don't accept Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach. But those of Abraham's bloodline will flee into the wilderness. We believe they go to Petra, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And that's kicked out of the heavenly realm where Father Yahweh exists, and he was kicked down to the heavens around our planet. He is actually called right now the prince. He is called the prince of the power of the air. His throne right now is somewhere in our atmosphere or even in our solar system, and that's why we see all this footage of UFOs and unexplainable objects, all usually a lot of lights and stuff, and those are all fallen angels doing what they do. So now, the sign in the heaven that I just showed you is right here. Satan gets kicked out immediately at the time of that sign. This is all mid-trib event stuff. Satan comes down to earth mid-trib, and he's here pursuing the Jews and basically all Christians and anybody who doesn't bow down. In 13, we see that the Antichrist, a global economy is created, a global religion and a global government. It's total tyranny. It is a global dictatorship. And the mark of the beast is implemented as mandatory globally in chapter 13, and anyone who doesn't take it gets beheaded. Okay, so this is the worst part of it. That we can figure out from, it's a mid-trib event, what we saw in Stellarium, this right here, this is a mid-trib event because this is the sign that we're supposed to be seeing in heaven. Okay, the woman with the moon at her feet, clothed in the sun, 12 stars at her feet, or at her head, crowning her, and the king is being born. This is unbelievable. There it is, right there. It happens on September 23rd of 2017. If that's a mid-trib event, we can then basically say, then right here, 2017, September, that's when this sign is in the heavens, right here. Okay? If that's mid-trib, and the rapture is pre-trib, and it is, because we're not part of that whole storyline in there, and for many other reasons, then we have to go back 3.5 years. 1 year would be here, 2 years would be here, 3 years would be here, and half would make it about March or April of 2014. Does that mean that the rapture, we have to wait 2 years or a year and a half? No, because the rapture happens in September or October during the Feast of Trumpets, because that's what the Feast of Trumpets is. It's the next moed on the calendar. God's calendar is in order. Yeshua has fulfilled Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, and Pentecost when he was here the first time. So the next on God's calendar is trumpets, which makes all the sense in the world with deep study, and you can watch all those videos on my channel. I'll have links below.